You know, the funny thing is that people really just don't want to admit the fact that they are being produced by the program that is producing them. This is just the truth of life, is the game of life, it's the manifestation of that which actually occurs and happens. The human being is produced by the human program. That's just a fact. We are produced, our life is produced by the interaction between the brain and the nervous system. This is the human program, and it is producing our life. As long as the human program is active, as long as the human program is activated, then we are alive. And there's nothing that we can do about it. Unless we want to swallow a pill of poison or something. But this is the thing. We are produced by the human program. There's nothing we can do about it. We don't have to do a single thing ourselves because the human program is doing it for us. Breathing, digestion, heart rate, anything. If we have sickness and problems in the body, yeah, of course, then that's another issue, and we won't talk about that in this video. But this is just how it is. We are produced by the human program. And if I'm going to explain the human being in this little talk, I would actually like to do that. So let's do it quickly. We are produced by the human program. That's the basic fact. We are produced by the human program. We are produced by that which is producing our existence, and that which is producing our existence is the interaction between the brain and the nervous system, which means the human program. So this is what constitutes our life. This is what activates the state that we may call living mental human life. So we are produced by the human program. Consciousness is a result of this process. Okay, so we have the living organism, we have the living human being. The human being has an invisible code within his own brain. This invisible code is the blueprint, is the fingerprint of the soul, so to speak, is the subconscious, unconscious, invisible blueprint of something that is particular to our existence. Usually this code, this deeply hidden secret in us, is something dark and tragic because it has to do with trauma and separation during childhood. So all people have a code, a certain code within their own brains. This code is simply who you are, in a way. It's the hidden blueprint of who you are. It's a combination of genes and hereditary stuff, the things that you got from biology, and but furthermore and more importantly, it is what you have experienced in life. I mean, the first 3 years of experience, the first 4, 5, 6 years of life experience. This has developed the code that basically is the hidden secret about your life. It's inside you. For many people this is traumatic because many people have had trauma in their life. That's why people have anxiety, it's why people get depressed, suffer from chronic stress. It's usually a dark and troubling thing, but it can also be a good, safe thing if you had a good upbringing. If you had a good, safe childhood, then you won the lottery because your code is a supportive, safe code. So that's just how it is. Now, this code is basically what we are in our subconscious mind, at least until we heal it or until we bring it out in the open, which is possible to do. We can actually heal our code and we can modify our code, but that takes a long time, but it's possible. But the thing that is important to understand is that when we grow up, the thing that will create our life, the thing that will produce the person that we will become, is how this code is reacting to experience. The programs that has become who we are, which is basically the neurocircuitry in our brains, these programs are the result of our deep subconscious mind's reaction to environment and to experience. So my brain is different from your brain because my code reacted differently to experience than your code. Your code is different than my code, and your experiences have also been completely different than my experiences. So your programs, the programs that has developed as reactions and behavior and personality structures within you, these programs are a result of the way that your code reacted to experiences. This is what produces the individual. This is this is the architecture of how the individual is created. The individual is created by the code's reaction to experience. So this is just how it is, and this is the explanation of the human being. This is the explanation of what we are. First, the human program that is constituting our life, then the code, which is, let's say, 30%. It's a mix of genes and DNA and the biology setup, so to speak, that we inherit as a biological offspring. And 70% this code is that which comes to our subconscious mind as a result of experience in our first 3, 4, 5, 6 years of existence. Now that the code is established when we are 6 years old, that code is already there. And that code, which is unseen, but it's the root of how the brain works, so to speak, because it's the root of how our mental life and psyche works. This code is deciding how we react to experiences. This code is deciding how we interpret things and how it will lead to the way that we project. It will control our projections and it will control our interpretations. So the whole secret of life, if you need therapy and if you need help to get out of the horrible past, if you need to come out of the horrible code that has produced all your suffering in life, anxiety, depression, stress, everything, then you will have to release your code. You will have to open up your code. You have to see your own code. And in the beginning, it's usually the programs that leads us to the code, because the programs is that which come out of the code, You can see the brain, right? And there's an invisible code in that brain. And because of that invisible code, the way that the brain develops neurocircuitry, which means behavior and interpretation systems, is decided by that code's reaction to experience. Because that code is basically who we are as an individual, and that which we are is actually an interpretation of experience. And that's why childhood is so traumatic for many of us, because we've had bad, dysfunctional families. There's been no love anywhere. There's no safety. There's no nurturing. It's only like psychological and emotional trauma and dysregulation. It's horrible what people have gone through in their childhoods. So the thing that I want you to understand is that you, as you are today in this very moment, you are produced and delivered to this world by the human program. The way that you are yourself is because of the code that exists in your subconscious mind, the invisible code inside your brain, the blueprint of who you have become. The programs in your brain, which is constituting your behavior and the way that you interpret and react and think and feel is the result to how this code have reacted to experiences. This is the truth of the human being. This is the whole shebang. This is everything that you need to know. If you can heal yourself out of this model and become your beingness in a way, instead of being the person, instead of being the experience, same as Nisargadatta Maharaj says, the only thing that you need is to entangle yourself from experience, so that your being stands alone. Because it's only when your beingness stands alone that you can see your true self, or that you can see true reality of yourself, of the self that you have. So it is not how to love yourself, but it is how to love the self that you have inside of you, or that you are inside of you. It's not a personal self, it's a nature self. It's the beingness. But anyway, sorry, this was not too clear. Never mind about that. But you can get out of your programs through, for instance, IFS therapy, internal family systems therapy, where you understand that you consist of parts, and these parts are carrying trauma and burdens, and you have to unburden your parts and unblend from your parts. It's a very good psychological therapeutic model. It's a methodology that truly really works. It's one of the best healing methods on the market, developed by Richard Schwartz, IFS. The second thing is, of course, to distance yourself from your mental life by be an experience of your beingness, the true self, the father self, the mother self, the source self, the God self, so to speak. This is ways of dealing with the product that you have become. In order to deal with the product that you have become, you have to understand the machine that is producing the product that you have become. Because the product that you have become, the person that you have become, is produced by a machine. And if you don't understand the machine that is producing you, then you're helpless. But anyway, this was a teaching of what the human being is, how the human being is, and how the whole thing comes to be. Thank you.